The Valdrine Empire had conquered 47 star systems in less than a century. Their warships were legendary, their tactics refined through millennia of conflict, and their diplomatic corps knew only one word in every language they encountered: surrender. Commander Ilana Chen stood on the bridge of the UHNS Defiant, arms crossed, watching the holographic display of the incoming Valdrine Armada. 300 ships, each one bristling with plasma cannons and shielded by technology that had broken the backs of a dozen civilizations. She took a sip of her coffee, black, no sugar, and glanced at her tactical officer. "James, what's our count?" Lieutenant James Morrison looked up from his console, his scarred face breaking into a grin that would have terrified anyone who knew what it meant. 42 ships, ma'am. The rest of the fleet won't arrive for another 6 hours. 42 against 300. Ilana set down her coffee mug. Seems fair. The Valdrine had made their mistake 3 months ago when they'd transmitted their ultimatum across every human frequency: submit to the Empire or face extinction. They'd probably expected panic, desperate negotiations, perhaps even immediate capitulation. Instead, they'd received a 2-word response from Earth's military command: come try. The Valdrine didn't understand humans. They couldn't comprehend a species that had spent 10,000 years perfecting the art of killing each other, before finally turning that expertise outward to the stars. They didn't know that humanity's first instinct when threatened wasn't flight. It was to figure out how to hit back harder. "Enemy fleet entering weapons range in 30 seconds, James announced, his fingers dancing across his console. "They're maintaining formation Delta 7. Standard Imperial doctrine." "Of course they are," Ilana murmured. "They've used the same tactics for 1,000 years because they've always worked." She leaned forward in her command chair. "Let's show them why that's a problem." "Execute protocol graveyard." James's grin widened. "With pleasure, Commander." The Valdrine fleet advanced like a tidal wave of death, their formation perfect, their targeting solutions locked. They'd done this countless times before. The smaller human fleet should have scattered, should have run, should have done anything except what they actually did. The human ships charged straight at them, aboard the Valdrine flagship Eternal Dominion. Supreme Admiral Krath watched in confusion as the primitive human vessels accelerated to suicidal speeds. "What are they doing?" he demanded, his translator struggling with the concept of what he was witnessing. His tactical officer's tendrils quivered. They're ramming us, Supreme Admiral." "Impossible. No species is that. The first human ship didn't ram them. At the last possible microsecond, it executed a maneuver that should have torn it apart. A full rotation combined with a gravitational slingshot around the Valdrine flagship. As it spun, it released a spread of kinetic missiles at point-blank range, then fired its main railgun directly into the flagship's shield generators. The shields held. Barely. Then the next human ship came. And the next, and the next. Ilana watched the chaos unfold with professional satisfaction. The Valdrine had shields that could withstand massive bombardment from a distance, but they'd never encountered an enemy insane enough to get close. Humanity had spent centuries fighting in the brutal arena of space, where distances were measured in millions of kilometers and weapons traveled at fractions of light speed. They'd learned to love the knife fight, the close-quarters brawl where reaction time and pure audacity mattered more than raw firepower. "Target their command ships," she ordered. "And James?" "Yes, ma'am." "Release the swarm." James pressed a series of commands, and from the belly of every human ship, thousands of small drones erupted like angry hornets. Each one was barely larger than a human fist, packed with explosives and equipped with basic AI that had one directive: find a weak point and exploit it. The Valdrine had never seen anything like it. Their point defense systems were designed for missiles and torpedoes, not for thousands of tiny, maneuverable targets that moved with erratic, unpredictable patterns. The drones swarmed over their ships, finding exhaust ports, sensor arrays, communications dishes. They burrowed into joints and seams, places where armor was weakest. Then they detonated. It wasn't the explosions that did the real damage. It was the chaos they created. Blinded sensors, disrupted communications, damaged maneuvering thrusters. The perfect Valdrine formation began to crack. "Now," Ilana said softly, "show them what humanity does best." The human ships stopped playing defense and went on the offensive. Railguns fired slugs of tungsten at relativistic speeds. Missile batteries unleashed torrents of smart munitions that adapted their approach with every meter they traveled. And the ships themselves moved like dancers, like fighters, like predators who had finally found prey worth hunting. James watched his tactical display with something approaching joy. Enemy flagship is breaking formation. Their command structure is collapsing. They're trying to retreat. Don't let them. Ilana's voice was ice. They came to our home with threats of extinction. Let's teach them what extinction looks like. The battle lasted 47 minutes. When it was over, the Valdrine Empire's mighty armada was debris floating in the cold vacuum of space. Ilana had lost 6 ships, 6 too many, but a victory nonetheless. As the surviving Valdrine vessels limped away at maximum speed, Ilana opened a channel, knowing they'd be listening. This is Commander Ilana Chen of the United Human Naval Service. You declared war on humanity. You called it conquest. We call it target practice. She paused, letting her words sink in. Go back to your empire. Tell them what happened here. Tell them that humanity doesn't surrender. We don't kneel, we fight. And if you come for us again, we won't stop until your empire is ash and memory. James looked at her, eyebrow raised. Think they'll listen? Ilana picked up her coffee mug, found it cold, and grimaced. Doesn't matter. If they come back, we'll be ready. That's what humans do. We adapt, we overcome, and we make damn sure that anyone who threatens our home regrets it. The Valdrine Empire never returned to human space. The recording of the battle, however, spread throughout the galaxy. It became a lesson, a warning, a story whispered among 1,000 species. There is a young race in the Sol system. They call themselves humans, and they have made war into an art form. Do not test them. They will turn your invasion into their training exercise.